Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have 1995. Yes, it's 1995 Lexus SC400. Yeah, it's the one that came with the V8 1UZ engine from Toyota. Today we have to do some work on this. First of all, headlight conversion to LED. This is low beam. This is high beam. We're gonna do both. And something with the fog lights. I have something in my mind. I don't really consider these to be fog lamps, to be honest with you, due to the bulbs that are being used in it. I'll explain further. And the type of lens it uses, which is reflective lens, meaning that you cannot see through. It has like ribs on the inside. I'm going to begin the installation and explain a couple of tricks and tips about these headlights. You might want to hear this because it's an old car, but updating it to something that 20 years newer or more would require some knowledge. Well, let's begin. First thing we need to do is, of course, open up the hood. Look at this beauty. By the way, in this car, weight distribution is great. So I'm standing by the wheel, front wheel, right? So let's say it's an axle. This is where this engine sits. It sits right on the axle and behind. Perfect weight distribution. So it's front mid front engine location. Actually pretty nice car. I tested it for a little bit. Pretty nice car to competitors such as Mercedes Coupe, BMW Coupe. Well, out of the big ones mostly. This is full-size car. The only thing is certain materials for this type of car and that age were not that great, such as headlights, and I would say leather seats. They crack, they don't really rip, but they crack because they dry. It used to be very good quality of materials, but it wouldn't last too long. So, I mean, original leather, obviously not going to last because it dries. Anyway, no rust on the car though. Let's get back to those headlights. First thing you want to do when working on headlights, converting low beams, this plug right here. Push and slide out. Sometimes it's easier just to do that instead of trying to take the whole thing out. In this car specifically, not enough room for the plug to go. So you slide it out, all right? Put it aside, you don't need it. Okay, so then what you need to do is just turn this bulb counterclockwise and pull it out. Nothing difficult here. It uses 9006, but what I've noticed is that in this car, 9006 were not working. They were just not locked in, and so I used 9005. Now, you take your conversion kit. I'm gonna use this one, 4 sides again. The reason for that is because we have a projector lens. Just put this in, align it, use your phone or something, or a normal flashlight to adjust everything. Align the tabs, they're on both sides. On both sides, I mean on 3 sides. And lock it in place. And see this way whether it works or not. If it doesn't, then you just flip the connector and the light comes on. So in our situation, positive is red with a green line. These right here were installed before me. I'm not really a big fan of that specific model. I think you could put something brighter, but it's a nice marker light. Let me move the camera back, show you the difference between the right and the left. See, this one is yellowish and this one is whitish. Okay, let me do the other side. You might want to turn the light off before you start getting your fingers in there. It's kind of a good idea to use somebody if you don't have smaller hands. Same thing, plug comes out first, bulb counterclockwise, and comes out. You know, there's not that much space in here. However, you can put your hand in here because it's basically right here where this corner is, or whatever it is cut. Put the conversion in first. And it's kind of difficult depending on the model that you have. Difficult to put it in the hole. If it's any longer than this, you might not be able to put it in. Well, like I said, they all universal, and for every model of a car, they have different models of LED conversion. And of course, don't forget to plug it and test it. Sometimes these cars have boots like these, so try to slide them if you need to cut the hole a little bigger. This, I didn't do this, somebody else did. So I slid it out and try to cut the back of the conversion. I mean, you still need the ventilation, however, just for a little bit of breathing passages, you know, try to have like holes here regardless whether it's nice or not if you're using aftermarket boots. And that's it. It's not really that big of a deal. Here's a little bit more dust could possibly come in if there's no engine cover, but these are really waterproof, shouldn't matter. As for the lights in general, a couple of things I wanted to tell you. Well, first of all, here you go. That's the result right now of low beams. With parking lights, a little bit different than what it was. Let me try to show you how high beams look. So okay, here's what I wanted to say. Even though it's a 1995 car and it came with projector headlights, which is unique. See, the bulb, original bulb that was here, it was not fully in because they couldn't put it in, and some moisture came in because it was raining outside when they brought the car in. But anyway, I'll get it out later. Let's look at this headlight right here. Nice, it's original. It's kind of clear for the age of this car. However, I would have done a little bit of work on this headlight, such as I would have at least sanded it and polished it or buffed it or something to make it more clear, because see, it's a little bit, has a little bit yellowish on it. There you go. I hope it's easier to see. You can barely see it, but you can still see it. So anyhow, this is all reflective lens. However, over here, even though it has these lines, it's still supposed to be clear, see-through, because projector cannot have anything in its way other than clear lens. So this is the reason why I would have done something. However, the owner of this car doesn't want to pay money for it, because it's actually gonna cost him pretty penny. I would probably spend, I would say 30 minutes at least per headlight. Well, you know, my time is not free, so sometimes headlights come in way worse condition than these, and sometimes I have to even take them out and do a lot more work to it. That would require sometimes up to 2 hours per headlight. These marker lights, I noticed somebody did something. The parking lights and marker lights, this is where the turn signal is. Somebody had a different connectors there and rewired everything. So I don't know. I mean, if somebody wants to do a headlight like this and change something, I can do that too. Again, all that requires to pay for my time. Anybody who's doing work on somebody else's car requires compensation. So sometimes it's high, but what do you guys want? If you don't want to do that type of work, somebody needs to get paid for doing that. Let me do high beams now. For high beams, it's relatively easy as well. This is the plug right here. You open up the hood, the plug is right over here. Unplug it, leave it there, counterclockwise, and the bulb should be coming out. Sometimes I need to jiggle it a little bit. What I've decided to use, this lens is a little bit reflective, and well, it doesn't have any projectors for high beams. I decided to use this conversion kit. Technically, nobody's going to be using these high beams all the time, just to flash somebody or for a couple of minutes the most use, so these are fine. Plus, they're a little easier to install, I would say. Connector out of the way. Use some kind of flashlight. See what is it that you're doing. That helps sometimes or always. All right, you lock it in place and you plug it. Red is positive. That's it. You can leave it in there hanging. As for the other side, it's a little bit uncomfortable to remove the plug, because the plug is on this side right here. Put some light over there, because every time I put my hand in there, I guess it gets dark. Anyway, right here, the plug is right over here, and you have to push here and slide it out, and there's a headlight corrector right here. You have to use two hands, of course. I guess you can pull on the wire or something, or you push down on the tab and push the connector out. So you slide it out like that. Push it out, you leave it there somewhere, counterclockwise, and you slide it out, pull it out, and that's it. Take your LED conversion. In my situation, it's one like this. I need to open these belts up for better airflow, for better cooling. Yeah, they get hot. This one uses Cree chip. Cree LED chip. It's very bright, but it heats up pretty fast and it can get too high of a temperature. LED chips do not like heat. And I have to fish that connector out. Okay, here we go. Positive is black and red. Plug it in and just leave it in there. Now you have to test it. This is how it looks with low beam and high beam together. Just the low beam. And here my flashing. As far as the fog lights, here's my trick. You see, back there I already pulled the connector out, right? So here's what I did. You can go from the back, take the cover off from the wheel well, fender liner, whatever you call it, or you can go underneath and do it, but I do it like this. I reach my hand inside, see, turn it in there and get it out, and then I use another hand to hold it and turn the light bulb. That's it. You can't really pull the wire out. This is what it had before, and this is what I'm going to put in. This is going to be amber. In my situation, I'm doing everything based on what I feel with my fingers. Let me show you. This is what I had before. And this is what I put in now. Same thing. You reach to the back of this. It's a little bit harder here because it has air conditioner lines. So you really need to have a smaller hand. Oh yeah, and no watch if you're using your left hand. With your fingers, you need to turn it counterclockwise. Sometimes it might be a little tricky. And you pull it out. Okay. Hold it with both hands. Take the old one out. Put it down. Put the new one in. Yeah, it does require a song and a dance on this side. Then you put it back in there. Careful. I mean, technically, you are working blind because you can't see what's going on back there. Find the hole, you lock it, and that's it. This is the theme that I used. Told the owner of this car about it. He wanted me to do it this way. The reason why we used yellow or amber is because these fog lights, they're not fog lights. They don't make any difference at all on the road. For you. For everybody else who's looking at you, yeah, they make a lot of difference. They see your car way better. They pay attention to your car better. Why does it make anything better in these fog lights? Reflective lens, one thing. Another thing is that he uses these little light bulbs. I'm trying to remember what size they are. 1156, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 1156. Anyway, those are like marker lights, brake lights, the most. And come on, you already got two minuses here, you know, in these lamps. So if you want better fog light, I think you can look for fog lamps from a newer model. I think they went up to 2000, this body style, and they came with H3 bulb, if I'm not mistaken. The whole design of the lamps is different, and that would make a bigger difference in using fog lamps. Okay, got a few more tricks for you. First of all, you see this lamp right here. This is a door light. I just wanted to make things faster a little bit because not everybody likes every detail that I show. So I'm gonna show everything as fast as I can. So this lamp right here, it's like a puddle light. Installs right here under the door. well, under the door handles sort of thing. Take a flathead and it comes right out. See, those are like springs, right? Then you bring it up on the table, on the roof of the car, and you need to open it up. Just pry it here slightly. 1, 2, it comes out. T10 bulb, pull it out, and replace it with something like this. Before you close everything up, you need to make sure the polarity is right. So you bring this back down, connect the lamp back, and then you put the LED inside to see. So if it doesn't work, you turn it around. If you blow the fuse, it's on the left side where the kick panel is. Reinstall the lens, pretty simple. Plug it back in, put it in here. There you go. And go do the other one. Here's another thing the owner of the car didn't even know. So you open up the glove box, and there was a light right in here. This is how it comes. Let me take it apart. I mean, you know, this I took it apart. Okay, we're going to do steps not in order because it's very difficult for me to show how to take this piece out. But anyway, let me unplug this. Push and pull. This thing has a bulb in here, very small bulb, if you can see, very small. It's closed like this when it's inside, and it's located right here, clipped all the way inside. In order to take this out, you need to put something like a flathead, like a tiny flathead screwdriver right here, and basically kind of pry it out, or like this, and push it on the other side. Okay, see, like it kind of locks in, Anyway, you get the idea. Then these tabs right here, 4 tabs, you can push one, and this side comes out without pushing the second one. You push 2, sometimes it doesn't come out all the way. It comes out, and then you have to pry on the other. So technically, you have to focus on 2 first, and then one of the third ones. Now, okay, so you got all this out. You got to disconnect it. You cannot put your fingers in there to take the light bulb out. You can try with needle nose pliers or just regular pliers, but you can break it and won't be able to get it out. Or you take your piece, you come to a fire extinguisher that has a tag like this, and you push from the back. You push with like metal wires, and you push in the back of here. There's a couple of little holes. Or if you have a needle, then you push with the needle. It has to be straight. And see, if I don't have to show anybody anything, I do everything quick and right away. Anyway, you have to, there's a couple of holes here. You have to push this in between, and the bulb comes right out. Right here, see, it came right out. Then what you do, you turn ignition on. Okay, make sure lights are on. You plug this thing, and then you take one of the small LEDs like this, and you start trying by putting in it and seeing if it's gonna work. See, it work. Close it, and you put it back in there. Well, you don't have to put LED if you don't want to, but I put the ones that imitates the regular bulb. I just like that. It actually has a nice look to it. That's all. Next thing is dome light. I noticed it wasn't working. Only map lights do. However, we're still gonna convert it to LED. There's a little, like a gap right here on this side. You put your flathead screwdriver in very gently but hard. You have to pry the glass out and push the plastic away at the same time. Okay, you have to get this corner out as much as you can, and then go to this corner right here. This one is easier, but it doesn't have any gap in it. Alright, so you get this out, lens comes out. What do we have in there? An LED that doesn't work. It happens. They go out. You take another one and you put it in. Again, you have to have the door open or the light on in order to see if it's gonna work or not. Okay, I turned it off. These are tricky lights. You know, this you can either replace it directly or you can modify something. Not that actually difficult to modify something for this. And I actually got in touch with the owner of the car and asked him if he wants me to modify something because I don't have direct replacement. These are rare. A couple of solutions. He said he didn't want to. So I guess he doesn't want to. Put the cover back on. That's it. You're good to go. All right, before I forget, sometimes people say, oh, I bought something, and it was a total garbage, something for dome lights or one of these lights, and it's total garbage, it broke. Well, let me tell you, people, this is exactly what happened with the owner of this car. When I told him, listen, let me make these LEDs work a lifetime. How am I gonna do it? I need to install something like a relay, electronic relay, because what happens is when the car is standing still, not running, nothing like that, the battery in this car gives power of a little bit more than 12 volts. That's the nature of this. I had to look for a fuse that I thought was blown. It wasn't. So when you start the car, the power goes up to sometimes even 14.7 volts. So you do need to decrease the voltage. So when you do that, you saving your LED's life. How? All these LEDs, they made all differently. Some of them made with some simple cheap resistors. The other ones are made with other type of resistors. Some have like this electronic resistor slash relays. So what you need to do is you need to stabilize the power, and that's it, and they'll last forever. So you need to make these little relays, and then you have to put them in the circuit. You have to solder wires, yada yada. While you're doing that, you know, you're wasting a lot of time. Basically, you have to charge people for it, and sometimes it costs, let's say, to change LED like this. I just did a trunk light. See, how long did it take me? There was no even cover here, but how long did it take me? Almost like the light I did for the door. A minute, 2 minutes, 5 tops. All right. The person, you can do it yourself. See, that's why I do these videos. You do it yourself, and it will cost you probably a couple of dollars. If you pay me to do the whole thing the right way, it's gonna cost you a couple of $100. So sometimes people don't want to pay a couple of $100. They want to pay a couple of dollars. That's what they get. They have to replace it every once in a while. Now, I'm just gonna go overall about things. You see what I did? I could have changed, put LEDs in shift pattern, whatever light. I could change that. I could change climate control, button lights, all those lights right there. I did on the Jeep Wrangler. A lot of things I could do. I don't remember if we could do the cluster in this car. Most of the cars of this age, yeah, you could do that too. You can change them with LED. That require special work. Well, you would have to take the cluster out, all these panels out. You know, you can buy these things ready. It costs some money, but a lot of just labor. Okay, that concludes for today's video. If you like it, show me your support by commenting or put thumbs up. You can also subscribe for more videos. Sometimes I do mini videos only about one car, different projects, and you can just ask any question you want. Thank you very much. Salud.